Hey guys, welcome back to Angela's Angel. And on this topic, I want to talk to you guys about the narcissist, pathological lying. Just compulsive. They're compulsive at lying, to gain your trust. To gain your trust. And I'm going to tell you guys this because, see, when you go through narcissist abuse, you realize you can't trust people, right? You'll when you go through your healing, you may talk to people, you may get advice, you might have people that seem like they genuinely support you, or or they have common rivalry with others who have gaslit you, and they come to you trying to get you to open your door, your portal. They look you in your eyes and make you feel like they can relate to you. They might even make it seem like they don't got nothing to do with, what happened, whatever you went through. And you'll see that a lot of people that will gain your trust during vulnerable moments, you'll see that a lot of them will not turn out to be who you think they are. It's kind of like the Little Red Riding Hood. You think it's a sweet granny, right? And it's a wolf. Right? So, the devil was once an angel. So a lot of people that, put you through situations, you thought highly of them. You cared about them. That's what makes it so painful. And that's why you come across these channels where, you're trying to find answers. Right? So when you heal, and healing is a process, right? You got to go through anger. You got to go through defending yourself in anger, and knowing that, that you can go back and forth with these people, but they're just going to enjoy it. It's going to give them something to gossip about. You understand that, sometimes no reaction it's better than giving them a reaction. And they try to make it seem like you're weak because of it, but it's really because it's burning them in the insides. It's burning their insides up when they can't, get a reaction. They can't see emotion. See, the narcissists, they feed off of emotions. So when these people get on here and they're telling you what they are, and even though I want to believe that these people can change, I don't believe. I believe that they learn how to contain their behavior. They learn to contain their behavior. And I'm going to say this because when you go through healing, right, you start to spot narcissists right away. But the more malignant ones are actually harder to spot. Sometimes you connect with people, right? And then these people that you connect with, they're looking at the more just low IQ. They're looking at the people with the low IQ who are narcissists, or the people who love being at the bottom. They love that lifestyle. They're looking at certain people and they can see the narcissism right away, and they're like, oh, that's a narcissist. You can spot them really quickly, and you'll connect with people because they'll give you that eye. Something will happen and they kind of look at you like, like that guy is weird or she's weird. Sometimes you feel compassion for certain people because you feel like they might not even be narcissists, or they might be empaths who are being currently abused, and they're stuck in a cycle that they can't get out of, doing things, sacrificing parts of themselves, and you could see the anger, the pain, and in certain situations you really in your heart believe, someone's a narcissist, but then maybe later on, you know, they apologize, right? And that doesn't mean that, oh, someone apologizes to you, that's them, validating or giving you closure to what they did. So you might still not trust them even if they apologize, because narcissists, they do stuff, apologize and do it again, right? So you might come across situations where people might apologize and things like that, and their behavior will be changed. They'll show you changed behavior. And of course, I'm not telling anyone to put their guard down, right? Because narcissists want you to put your guard down. But you'll see that some people are trapped in a cycle, and it makes them look like a narcissist. But when you deal with narcissistic people, they will try to get back on your good side. Certain people will accept that their behavior was bad, right? An empath can even be ashamed of themselves. Like, I apologize. That person has the right to be angry and not want to talk to me. And I'm not my best self because I'm being abused. I'm not my best self, right? And that's it, right? But with a narcissist, they'll come to you like they didn't do anything. And they don't even come apologetic. They'll just act like, hey, let's just get over what happened. It doesn't seem genuine, or they'll kind of put some blame on you. Hey, I was asking you to do something nice. They lie their way into your life, and then they make you feel like you have an obligation to them, or you have some type of connection because you've had conversations with them. And you already know how narcissists are, so you're just waiting for it. You're waiting for them to ask you for a favor. You're waiting for them to, you feel like just because you're nice to this person, they're eventually going to bombard you with questions or interrogate you or want to know everything about you. They want to learn you really quick. They want to learn how you think. They want to see emotions. They want you to share things with them, share events of your life. They want to, they want to literally dissect you. That's why the narcissist likes New Supply, because it's about dissecting that person and then using your weaknesses and making you feel like you're nothing, or pointing things out that they might feel might hurt you or make you insecure, or things that they feel might even trigger you. So these people, will then ask you for something, and then they'll use God. They'll use, being humanitarian. They'll use, the law of attraction. They'll use things or point out things and make you feel like, they got some sense. It sounds good. It's like they're giving you a sales pitch almost. And it sounds good, and you might have certain beliefs on what they're speaking of when it comes to God, when it comes to anything, and they might, make you feel guilty for not helping them or doing them a favor or something. It could even be something minor, something minor, but you're just not willing to take that risk, or you just don't feel obligated to do so because you almost feel like, hey, you're an adult just like me, and you might even feel like you don't really know this person for them to even ask you. You feel like you wouldn't ask them for something, or you wouldn't ask them certain questions, so they shouldn't do those things to you. But they force conversations on you. And a lot of times you can spot them out real quick. And there's going to be people around you who are spotting, the same narcissist out, right in front of you, right next to you. And they're kind of like, like I said, like, oh, that dude's weird, or, or just people in public or anywhere, somebody does something, or someone acts out of character, or someone is emotional, the narcissist is kind of like, look at that guy, he's losing it, look at them, and they're looking at you like I would never be that guy, I would never be that person, I wouldn't do those bad things that person is doing, I wouldn't steal, I wouldn't, they act like they have standards, boundaries, and things that they're not willing to do, or certain lines that they're not willing to cross. They act like, they're a good friend, or they're into their family, or their family people. They'll act like they know right from wrong, like they got common sense. See, the lower grade narcissists, you can spot them out quick, but there's going to be those that are malignant who are more experienced and who have learned how to control their emotions. See, when a narcissist acts on impulse, out of emotion, they're getting mad at you for no reason. You're like, this person's crazy. They're accusing you of things that, you didn't do. You get to the point where you're like, you're like, this person's not a human. You're like, is this person, do they like the same sex? Do they like the opposite sex? Are they cheating? Like almost every question will come into your mind where you're questioning who this person is, because you're like, this person is so far deep down the rabbit hole when it comes to lying, where they'll get caught for things, or you'll get evidence, or the universe will just put things across for you to wake up and know that you're dealing with a predator. But they'll find ways to make you feel like, they'll try to dumb down everything that's happening. They'll continue to lie, or they'll make excuses, or, they'll get angry, and they're reacting out of emotion. So it's very easy to see something's wrong with this person. But see, there are those who don't show any emotion. You get to the point, right, as an empath, where you might even feel numb, like you don't have any emotions. And it's not that you don't have any emotions, it's that you already went through every emotion that you could go through, as far as healing, right? Because some people are like, how long is it going to take to heal? You got to feel almost every emotion to wake the hell up and say, oh, okay, I got to take my life serious. I can't allow people to play with my emotions, because playing with my emotions is playing with my mind. And the mind is a very powerful thing. You can go into addictions, messing with your mind. You can go into being gaslit and lying to yourself and becoming delusional if you don't know the truth, if you don't seek the truth, right? The narcissist likes keeping people in a fog. So a lot of times when you're in a fog and the narcissist has you, you're partying all the time, or you're doing things, you're in a fog, right? So you're able to spot certain narcissists better, because a lot of times the narcissists that you're able to spot out quickly are those who might be doing substance abuse, they're alcoholics. There's something that they're doing and they can't regulate their emotions to be as cunning and manipulative as they want to. Then there are those who could be an addiction, but they're immune to that shit, and they can function to a certain level, meaning that they could go to work, but something might be off about them, but nobody says anything, right? And you could spot them. Then there are those who their IQ, the lower the IQ, the less information you have. Knowledge is power. The less knowledge a narcissist has, and the more knowledge you have, you will be able to outsmart a lot of narcissists. But when you're dealing with a narcissist who might have a higher IQ than you, you might process certain things that person is saying, right? This is why, narcissists prey on people, and it doesn't matter if you're young, you're old. They're looking for your IQ. They're looking, where are you at mentally? What age are you at mentally? Because the body means nothing to me, and they do that because to them, They need to be smarter than you to outsmart you, and they will play dumb. They will even play dumb to the point where you're thinking this person is really, you know, they're not that intelligent, but really they're playing stupid with you, because they don't like people who are smarter than them, and know what their next move is going to be, or what, or could read right between the lines. So when you deal with these type of people, you learn lessons over and over again. That's what the Hoover, the discard. You learn lessons over and over and over again. So the narcissist almost feels like they're parenting you, like they're doing you a favor by showing you the lowest parts that the narcissist will go to lie to you and deceive you, and at the end make it seem like they didn't do anything, leaving you with anger and so many different emotions to cope with. The narcissist actually doesn't feel nothing. They don't feel shit. Let's be real. I don't know who needs to hear this. They don't feel nothing. I don't know what you think when you're listening to these people talk. They're giving you false hope. They're giving you, once you're dealing with someone this cunning, I don't believe there's any possible way to undo this, just because you have to look at yourself. There's certain things that you're just not capable of doing. There's certain things that you feel like, you almost feel like, okay, you might be capable of doing certain things if you have to, right? Because if you have to survive, if you're on survival mode. But it's not going to be something that makes you feel good. The narcissists, they don't feel nothing. So to them, it's indifferent. They're like strolling around, in life, like it's a party, like it's just a journey, and they almost, because they don't feel anything, to them it's like whatever happens. I'm gonna just keep moving forward. Whatever happens. They don't make logic choices. They just feel like everything will always turn out, for the benefit of them in the end. And they feel like it has nothing to do with their looks. It has nothing to look, certain narcissists you might not even be attracted to, but it was something about them, and that was their intelligence. And it's not saying that a narcissist is necessarily intelligent, but it's their because some of them, the more malignant ones, they do have a level of intelligence that you might have. So you might connect to them because they can mentally keep up with you in what you like and what you're about, So you will have certain narcissists that, they seem like you, like as far as the intelligence, but because of their lack of empathy is replaced by this animalistic nature that I've been talking to you guys about, like wild animals, right? So to them, because they don't feel that, to them, they get bored. They constantly want to fight. They constantly need stimulation. It's like they have a lot of drive, so to them, they feel almost like it doesn't matter where you put me. It doesn't matter how old I get, because I've talked to narcissists that are, 70, 80, and they think, they almost act like they still have a chance with someone young. They just feel like I'm gonna shoot my shot, I'm gonna shoot my shot, because you might think of me, you might be naive and say, I want to be like Anna Nicole Smith and get me a sugar daddy. So they'll even shoot their shot at a very old age, because to them, it's all about the mind. And because they don't have that empathy, it's replaced by that animalistic nature to manipulate. So you gain more empathy, right? Even if your feelings are closed off because of all you've been through, because you feel like emotions are weakness to narcissists. So they kind of change you. They change you and they make you more closed off. The narcissist can sense when someone is closed off and they feel like you need some type of excitement in your life, and they want to stimulate your mind. You know, they might sense that you haven't had your mind stimulated because your self-love, your confidence, your confidence is giving the narcissist, you know, I don't care how confident you think you are. I don't care how closed off you think you are. I need you to open that door. I need to get through. I need to stimulate your mind. I need to get in. I need to know who you are, what you are. You know, I need to know you. You know, it gives them a rush, the hunting. This is why when certain people just start sharing things with the narcissist, they're on the phone for hours with the narcissist. To them, that's easy supply to them. It's like, I already got you because I got you talking and trusting me for hours and making you feel like I'm a friend or I understand what you've been through. And all I got to do is, they'll sit there and listen to you. They love it because they're collecting data on you. So they love it. It's when they can't figure someone out that they're on their best behavior, you know, on their bestest behavior. And, you know, when you're dealing with lower grade narcissists, you know, they'll just tell on themselves right away, or they'll start, you know, talking about things they shouldn't talk about, or approach you in a way where it's disrespectful and they haven't even asked you, you know, hey, are you single? Are you married? Or it's just the simple fact that they're coming to you almost so overly confident where it almost seems like this is what they do on a regular. They come off too strong. But there are those narcissists who have learned not to come off too strong, who have learned not to overshare because they used to stay on the phone for hours with supply. But the better the supply got, the more they learned, all they do is adapt. So to them, it's, what can I do next to make myself seem normal? What can I do next to gain trust? What can I do next? They're constantly thinking of what to do, or thinking of the things that you say and trying to decipher who you are. Meanwhile, you don't know that you're dealing with a pathological liar. They're making you feel like they're like you. They think like you. Your viewpoints on the world are like theirs. And what they do is that they insert thoughts into your mind. And when I say that they insert thoughts into your mind, it means that some of them, you know, will feel like, okay, I've gained your trust, or I've done nice things for you to trust me, or I gave you something, you know, just generosity. I gave you something, or I shared, you know, something, or I ordered food for everyone at the job. Because I've seen things like this where the narcissist would be like, oh, I bought my coworkers all lunch, and I'm like, why would you do something like that? You know, and like, why? You know, and to them it was all about fitting in. It was about being welcomed and being trusted and seeming like, oh, I'm that person that's there for my friends. I'm that person, you know. So a lot of times they'll force themselves to get you to like them, and especially if they're attractive. If they're attractive, you're just going to be amazed. Like, you're going to be looking at this person, you're going to be looking at their features, and you're just going to be like amazed by their confidence, by the way they think, their mindset. And the reason you're even thinking or you're interested in them is because they are pulling your energy. They're pulling at your energy, and they're deceiving you. They're lying to you. They're making you feel like you can trust them. They're relatable. Their IQ is you know, up there. They're more intelligent than the typical narcissist that, you know, will just tell on themselves right away. They won't force themselves on you. It's kind of like hot and cold. Like, there'll be times where they will force themselves on you. There'll be times where they'll try to act standoffish, and it's always calculated. So, you know, I've been in situations, me personally, that's why I'm speaking on this, because you already know, coming off of this crazy toxic environment that you were in, you already know you're going to be bumping into these people all the time. You know that majority of the people you bump into might not think they're high on the narcissist scale, but they are, because they're constantly lying to themselves. And that's what a lot of narcissists do, is they lie to themselves, you know. And the there's no change behavior. It's like saying you want to do something, but and you keep telling yourself, I'm going to get around to do it eventually, and you just never do it. You know, the narcissist can say, oh, I'm going to be good to this new supply, and down the line, you know, they steal this person's identity, they drive this person mad, and then they steal mannerism or certain things that they learned about that person, and they'll take it on to the next relationship. So they evolve, you know. They've studied themselves, they've studied a lot of people, a lot of supplies that they've ran across. When these type of people feel like they've gotten supply that is really like grade A supply, they'll start feeling, you know, they'll start feeling like they're on that person's level. You know, they feel like, I've made it. And because I've made it, now I can talk about these things that I've done to others, because I've made it. You know, I can now I can accept all the things I've done, all the hurt I've caused, all my actions. Now I can tell my story, and they'll go back, and you'll see it. They'll be old. They'll be talking about their exes. They'll be talking about people that they've wronged or they claimed wronged them. Most of the time, they'll say that those people wronged them. It's crazy, because they won't take accountability. But they'll also say, oh, you know, I did my part. I wasn't the best person to them, but they're not going to go on detail on what they did to those people. And that's because they're at the point where they feel like they got, like I said, grade A supply. You know, they feel like, I made it. Like, this is where I'm, you know, it might not be, they might still feel like they could do better, but they know deep down they can't do better. So they might even leave that relationship. They might even, you know, fool around, and then they realize, no, I there's nothing better. Like, you know, they know they're going to go down that rabbit hole, because there isn't going to be anything better. And that bachelor life that they want is not, you know, ideal the way they thought it would be. They thought, oh, I'm going to have different women every night. And then they realize that they have to convince a woman, they have to work for a woman to get to them. And if they don't work for it, they got to get them someone they're going to pay. You know, they got to pay for it. And they are constantly trying to learn ways to manipulate. So, if this is someone that doesn't have looks, but they're able to brainwash people. They're able to lie to people. That's why I say some of them, you weren't even attracted to, but they were able to fool you. And some of these people will, you know, their life will go downhill. But then you have those narcissists who are attractive, who, you know, there's something about them, you know, where they can seem very normal, you know, like they can seem like, hey, I'm a nice guy, I'm calm, you know, I'm not all over the place, but they are all over the place. That's why they got to constantly talk about themselves, talk about what they've done to others. They're constantly, it's like the perfect job for a narcissist to just sit around, to be honest, on a podcast and just like gossip, or, you know, talk about themselves, or, you know, target others. But that's neither here nor there. And I'm just saying, because from all the narcissists I've ran across, they love telling stories, and they love to lie. You know, they are more about telling you stories, but it's gonna come with the prize. They're telling you stories because they know that you're gonna feel like, well, what does this person have to lie for? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would someone tell me something and it's something that, no one will lie about it. It could be something so small. It could be anything. They insert thoughts in order to get answers out of you. So they'll say, I had it was my kid's birthday. We went to we had a little party, or we went to the skating ring, or whatever the case is, right? And this person just wants to know if you have children, if you'll say something, right? So you might feel like you might be standoffish. You don't want to get too close to people, right? The narcissist senses that. They know that. And it's not even them sensing it. They're just wondering why maybe you're a little bit more quiet or you don't overshare certain things. So they might just wonder. They know they might be paying attention to you, and they know that you pay attention. So they're like, okay, what's up with this person? Have they been broken? Are they want to know what you are to label you. So most narcissists label people. So a lot of times what they will do is they will label you, but they will watch you in order to say, yeah, that's what they are, or just to, just to validate their themselves. And you're thinking to yourself, why would a stranger, why would someone want to validate themselves using me? That's weird. That's weird, right? But the way they do it is so sneaky that a lot of people won't pay attention, and they don't pay attention. And the narcissist, the malignant one, they know that people don't pay attention, and it goes over their heads. I mean, come on now. These people can tell you who they are, and they can be nice to you and, give you advice, and you'll sit there and fall for it. You'll sit there and listen to them and hear them talk like you didn't live it. You lived it. So you should know what you experience. You don't need a narcissist really to tell you what you experience. But I guess a lot of people need that validation to know that what they went through was real, right? Like, it's real. Some people just need that validation to know, hey, this is how they really think, and that's what I thought they thought like. So it's validation, right? It's validation. So people will overlook everything else. People will overlook everything else because after a while of seeing that person or hear them talk, or you start to confuse it with them being remorseful. You'll start to confuse it with, oh, maybe they seem like they have empathy because they say they don't want to do these things. So they got to have empathy because they say they don't want to do these things. The narcissist still wants to do these things. They're just learning how to contain certain actions. And it doesn't mean that they won't cross that boundary. It means that they've learned how to hide it better. Or they've learned to convince and brainwash the supply to accept certain things. And that gives them power because they feel like, okay, if I'm getting everything I want, then I can't be crazy. I gotta be, I gotta be powerful to a certain level. So they don't look at it as change. They look at it like they became the masters of their little universe that they live in. And in order for them to stay in that little universe and feel above everyone, they have to lie to people. So a lot of times you can have that natural confidence, right? Where you don't need validation from nobody, right? The narcissist needs validation from people, and not just from people, but they need to validate themselves. This is why I say you might be someone who's like, I don't want to overshare things with people because I already know how dangerous that is. So the narcissist will overshare it with you. They'll make you feel comfortable. They'll give you things. They'll make you feel right at home. They'll make you feel like there's someone you can talk to for hours. They will make you feel like they understand you, or they've been through the same things as you, or they'll even share things about their life with you, that might not be great, right? That might not be great. And this is why a lot of narcissists have flying monkeys, because the narcissist will sometimes tell the truth about their life, the toxic things that they've done, and then they get a reaction from people, because people will be like, why would you do that? And then they'll say something, and if they're charismatic, they're good looking, people will laugh off what they're saying, or people will think to themselves, oh, he's narking it, he's a narcissist. But they will feel like, as long as they don't do nothing to me, I don't care, right? You're like, I don't care. You get around malignant narcissists, you're just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just let them be them and stay out of it. When you're dealing with these people, you can't stay out of it, because they're always watching you. And the narcissist, if they're going to be around you, they're going to have to force themselves on you, and they're trying to figure out, do you want to be on my good side? Do you want to be on my bad side? And if you're like, hey, I don't want to be on no side because I don't even know you, to them it's like, okay, well, I'm going to force you to like me then. And when I force you to like me, then I'm going to figure you out. So, okay, you don't want to share things with me. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to share things with you. I'm going to tell you stories. I'm going to share a death in the family. I'm going to tell you my mother is sick and I take care of her. I'm going to tell you, I just started my own business. I can give you a job opportunity. I'm going to tell you stories about things from a country they came from another country they came from, and how hardworking they are, and all this and that, and how they have, oh, we have these great parties out there. Americans are just, it's nothing compared to these American parties. It's just very different, more family oriented, more this, more that. They'll say things to you. They'll force conversations. They'll, hey, did you vote? Did you vote? You didn't vote? Why didn't you vote? Oh, you don't believe in that your vote counts? Oh, I pay taxes, this, that. They feel like you don't pay taxes. That's why you don't care to vote. They're making their own assumptions about you. And it's not even true. It's not even true. They're making their own assumptions about you. They want to validate themselves. The narcissist doesn't just seek out like admiration from people. They validate themselves just by getting information out of you and saying, this is who you are, or you're beneath me. You don't pay taxes, right? You're beneath me. I'm more hardworking than you. I do this, I do that. So what if my attitude? So what if I'm a narcissist? So what if I'm better than you? So everything is about feeling like they're better, controlling their environment. And these are people that will even come to your circle, to your environment, and try to win everyone over, just to go against you. They want to know who's the ringleader, who's someone that people respect. Oh, people respect you. Why do they respect you? Oh, because you mind your business, because you don't gossip about them, you don't go back and forth, because you're honest, because you help people out, because you're an honest person. If you don't like something, you say what you mean and mean what you say, and you do it in a way where you want everyone to know it's never intentional, or you're never trying to boss anyone around. Even in positions, it's like if something is not done, you know, you want to talk about the importance of why it needs to be done, what can happen, and how you don't want that to happen, and how you really want to give this person a chance, and you're not quick to just strike somebody out. So now the narcissist wants to know, okay, how can I be more like you? How can I be your friend? Because if I'm cool with you, then I'm cool with everyone here. So they're constantly, why do people respect you? I don't respect you. They might even see you and be like, I don't respect you. And then when they watch you and they see your mannerism and how you move, they fake a lot of that. They fake a lot of their behaviors, right? They might feel like they fake a lot of their behaviors because even when they're doing good deeds, they're validating themselves again. These are people that are constantly validating themselves, meaning that when you do shit, you just do shit. You don't go and tell other people you do it. So when they do stuff in front of you so you can see them and see them as good people. And not only that, but they go and start telling other people what they did for other people, where you'll just do something and you won't even think about it. You'll just move on with your life. But these are the more malignant narcissists, because they do it in a way where you can't say that's a bad person, right? So they'll move in real slow, or real quick. Either way it goes, it's about validating themselves. So if they made an assumption about you, they're going to quickly realize that their assumption was wrong. So now they want to find another flaw to you, Okay, everybody respects you. Okay, but what kind of car do you drive? Okay, everybody respects you and you actually have a nice car. Okay, but where do you live? But where do you live though? Okay, so you got your own place. Okay, but are you married though? Okay, but do you have kids? Oh, see, I got you. You don't got kids. I found a weakness. Right? So the conversations either go quickly or they go over time, slowly, till they get enough information. And it's all about trying to discredit you or trying to put you down, or having information to where they feel like, okay, now I know if we ever get into a fight, I'm going to say, especially if they have children and you don't, to them it's a competition. So if they're talking about going on a vacation and dropping off their children, and they're like, oh, their father doesn't want to take care of the children, so I'm going to just dump them at the father's house because I need a vacation and I don't care. And you might say something to them like, I don't think dumping your kids at, their father's house is a good idea, So these people will be cool with you until you say something to them that they don't like. And that's when they'll show you their true colors. And this could take a long time because, you can have a good conversations with these people. And then you say something that just doesn't add up. And you'll say, hey, I think you should just stay at home, be a parent. And, it's not about having fun. And they're like, oh, I need a break. And then you're like, yeah, I feel you, it's like going to work every day, and that person might not work. They might be lazy, and you're someone who works, a lot of hours, and you might feel like your body's tired, your mind is tired. You might feel like you need a vacation, so you understand the feeling of being tired, and you got somebody telling you that they need a vacation and they're not working not even twice as hard as you're working. And it's not that you're trying to discredit them, but you're like, enjoy that, because that's something, that's important. And not just that, but safety. You're not just thinking about, you're thinking about safety, right? You don't want to drop someone off and cause commotion and do all this if you know that you're just not in a position to do so. You can't force someone to be in a position to do what you want them to do if they're not willing to do it. So you might try to be realistic with this person. And now they're going to say, oh, you don't have kids. You don't understand. You understand, you might feel like you understand what it's like to be tired. You understand that, having someone to take care of is a lot, you know. But you're just saying something out of good advice, and safety. You would want your child to be safe. You don't want to drop your child off and people aren't aware, or that person you're dealing with might be a narcissist and they might be vindictive and do something to your children because you're playing a dangerous game. So these are the type of people that will victimize themselves, but the moment you say something they don't like, now they're bringing up things, or they're gossiping about you to others, and they're sharing information and data that they collected from you. And be careful, because they'll gossip to you about other people, and even things that you might be true. They might be true, and they're going to bring it up just to get your opinion. How do you feel about that person? So they can run back and even have that as leverage to, have a connection with another person and say, oh, so-and-so said this about this person. But they're not going to say what they said. They're not going to say that it's them who had an opinion about that person. Right? And what's crazy about these people too is that sometimes you get comfortable with people because you've been in isolation, and you'll start talking to people that you feel like great minds think alike type of thing, but they're out for themselves, and you're like a book. So to them, it's like they're basically skimming through your chapters. Once they start, see, the narcissist, they're a pathological liar. First, they love bomb you, hi, nice, might offer you things, even if you don't accept it. They feel they're giving themselves validation, even if you don't accept their gifts, their whatever charm they're trying to put on you, because it's charm. They feel like, oh, it's fine. You don't have to accept it. See, a lower grade narcissist, they're going to try to force you. More malignant one's going to be like, oh, okay, no problem. Oh, here, I went to me and my child, my child's birthday was this weekend. They want to know, okay, do you have kids? Do you live alone? What information can I get out of you? They might even start flirting with you. At least that's what it seems like. I ran into a lesbian, right? What are they called? A butch? I don't know the terminology, you guys. But someone who dresses dyke, I don't know, who dresses like a dude, right? And just asking me personal questions like, do you have a man? And I'm just like, why do you want to know that? I'm looking at them directly, like, why do you want to know that? Oh, I'm just asking. I'm like, are you hitting on me? Oh, no, I'm not hitting on you. Then why are you asking me? To me, you're a lesbian. So I clearly see you're a lesbian. So if you're asking me, I've had lesbians who would just ask me personal questions. And to me, it's like, what, do you think I'm a lesbian? Like, why are you asking me this? And it reminds me of the narcissist, like how the narcissist just starts asking you personal questions. But because it's the same sex, to me, it was alarming. Like, why are you asking me these questions? But then I realized a lot of these lesbians, it's this is why I said the mind is very powerful, right? The mind is very powerful because this lesbian thinks like a man, but they think like a male narcissist, right? Like an immature one. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. You have the mindset of the narcissist, whether through relationship, whether through your parents, maybe your parent was masculine, I don't know, but it's something in your mind where you just act like a narcissist dude. So that's when I realized, okay, a lot of times because you're not so easy, they're not able to read you so easily, you will attract narcissists right away. Like I said, a lot of them, you'll be able to spot them, and then you'll run across people that you think are empaths or you're just crossing paths. And some of those are actually narcissists themselves. You think, oh, this person seems like an individual, they seem confident, they seem like they don't BS, but then you'll start to see that they'll start asking invasive questions. That's when a lot of times you have to ask yourself, when people ask you questions, you have to ask yourself, would you ask this question? Is it the right time to ask this question? Why does it matter to you? You have to you have to literally read people, and when they ask you questions, and I say this because sometimes you will answer a question and you might not feel like it's a big deal, but then you will feel empty. You will feel like someone took your energy, and it's because they asked you a personal question and you answered it, but you don't know. Like let's say they say, oh, do you live alone? And you say, oh yeah, I have my own place, whatever, right? Then you realize, does that person have their own place? Who do they live with? You'll start asking yourself questions because they asked you questions and you answered things that you don't know the answers. You don't know questions about them. And then a lot of times they actually give you answers, and the answers that they tell you, they're lying, or they're making it something that it's not. So they might tell you, oh, this my child and my child's mother, and then come to find out they're not even with that person anymore. They're trying to make themselves look like a family man, but then they're trying to cheat. So they're flirting. I'm married, I'm this, I'm that, and they might not even be in a committed relationship. They made it seem like they were living with that person, and they might not even be living with that person, but they are dealing with that person, but it's not serious. So they might come off like family people to other people, and they might have got a divorce. They might have said they got a divorce and never even got a divorce. You just never know with narcissists. This is what I'm telling you. You never know with narcissists because they're never telling the truth. And a lot of times they overshare things with you. And some of these things could be facts. Some of these things could be common interests. And your common interests don't really matter. Opposites attract, But sometimes these common interests will lead people to have something to say, so they could talk about anything. They could talk about, the History Channel and a documentary, and you'll start talking about the documentary, and they're watching your emotions. See, the narcissists, they're not like passionate about the things that they talk to you about. They're just throwing shit out there. They're artificial intelligence. They're just throwing information that they've learned, podcasts, videos that they've seen, movies that they've watched. They're just throwing stuff at you, government problems, spirituality, basic things about basic needs. Where do you live? Anything that has to do with you. The moment you talk to these people, the moment you open your mouth, besides being cordial to them, the moment you open your mouth and you get into a conversation with them, it's over. The narcissist will begin to lie. They will begin to lie. The moment you start having conversation, it doesn't matter if it seems authentic. It doesn't matter. The moment you have a conversation, you have opened the door. The moment you are listening to the narcissist and you're believing some of their stories, you have opened the door because you feel like they don't have a reason to lie. They seem so passionate. They might be sharing someone else's story and they're just looking at your reaction. They're saying, does she believe me? Does she feel like, why would someone lie about this? I mean, it's something so simple. I just said I went out with my family for dinner this evening. Do they believe me? So anytime they say something and you're nodding or you're sharing things and you're like, oh, you know what? I went to that place too. Oh, you know what? I went through that too when I was younger. Oh, you know what? I've been through a bad breakup like that before. They'll just throw shit at you. Anything. They'll say anything. They'll share anything. They'll say stuff. And after they say what they say and they got you all hined up in your emotions, or what they do is they plant thoughts, right? So they say something, you're going to be thinking about whatever they're saying, and then they're going to ask you a question. They're going to say something, anything, talk about anything, talk about your surroundings, talk about the weather, talk about, oh, someone just got in a car accident. Oh, look, the police is over there across the street. Oh, really? Yeah, I just recorded the accident. That's crazy, huh? They want to see, like, are you going to be like, oh, I pray for them? Or are you going to laugh and be like, dang? Or are you going to, they're trying to see what your emotion is going to be. And while they're studying you, they're also thinking, oh, look at me. I'm a likable person. Look at me. This is my friend. They're calling you their friend and you don't even know them. They're calling you their friend, and now the next time they see you, they're like, hey, what's your name? Now they want to know your name. They want to know because they're putting you on the spot. They're like, oh, look, police across the street. Now the next time they see you, just because you even paid attention to them. See, when narcissists do that, you almost got to look at them and ignore them. And they might be like, damn, bitch, you just ignored me. But guess what? They'll never talk to you again. And they can't really do anything because you ignored them. It just says you have boundaries. They're going to leave and they're going to think to themselves, that bitch ignored me. But then they're going to process it and they're going to be like, well, maybe she felt like I was flirting with her and she's married. Maybe she felt like I was coming on to her and, maybe that's why she did it, right? They make up stories to validate themselves because they don't like to feel like you ignored them. That's why certain narcissists will be aggressive and, you don't talk to them. They'll start cursing you out. And you're like, dang, I'm married. Don't talk to me. And, and they're like, oh, then screw you then. They get aggressive. Then you got some that they know that the aggressive attitude is not going to get them anywhere. So in order to validate them and close that door, they have to lie to themselves. They have to say, oh, even as good looking as they might be, you might ignore them because you feel like it's a complete stranger. They're probably laughing. Oh, look, there was an accident. I recorded it. They might be laughing. You're like, this person's weird. You ignore them, right? Or they might even seem like they're really empathetic and they really feel, they're like, oh, I hope that person's okay, bro. Bro, I hope that person's okay. I hope nobody got hurt, though. As long as no one got hurt, and they'll just talk to you. And if you talk to them the next time, guess what? Hey, what's your name? Oh, okay. You from the area? Oh, okay, yeah, I live right here. I've been here for this long. Or, hey, I just moved here. I was looking for new friends. You seem cool. Every time I see you, you're smiling. I like positive people. I could tell you're positive. You don't bother nobody. And now they've got you in their world. And now they'll come to you and tell you random stories. And they're looking at your reaction. Do you believe me? A lot of times people are going to believe them because it's another day. People feel like, why should people lie about certain things? The narcissist persona is fake. They don't feel shit. I'm being real. They don't feel nothing. And they're constantly lying. They're not telling the truth. Sometimes, right, you'll tell them, oh, I'm I'm going to celebrate a graduation this week. Oh, really? You're not going to invite me? Oh, I'm going to have a gathering in my house. Oh, Oh, so no invite to your house. Even if because they want to know, are you in a relationship? Are you gonna say no because you're in a relationship? And if you say, oh no, it's just gonna be my family, you know? Oh, so I don't get to go because your family is gonna be there. They're still trying to fish for information, you know? They're trying to see if you're gonna say, oh, I'm married. They're like, oh, you didn't say I'm married? Okay, she didn't say she's married, you know? They're having conversations with themselves while they're having a conversation with you. And they're having a conversation with themselves even when you're not around. And they're plotting on love bombing you the next time they see you again. And they're going to constantly be nice until you become familiar with them, until you trust them. And then they're going to, now they're going to try to finesse you. Now they're going to try to sell you. Now they're going to try to gain something, or, you know, um, spin the narrative, right? Or now they might start to devalue you. They'll just start acting like, you know, like they're greater than you. They're going to act quiet. They might even block you. They might even, like, they don't want to be around you, or like they're better than you. They're trying to get a reaction. What if I don't talk to you today? What if I'm quiet today? First, I bombard you with questions. I got some information out of you, but they might not talk to you because they're plotting on their next conversation and how they're going to go about it, how they're going to pick up on questions and answers that they want from you, so they're going to try to figure out, how can I, have a story to tell, or how can I use someone we're connected to share things with you, so that I can share things with you and then hit you with more questions that I want to know about you, and everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. They're liars. They're pathologically lying. They're planting seeds. They're telling you things about themselves that aren't true. They're telling you things that are true. And everything is just to get reactions, to see your emotions, your expressions. You don't even have to be mad. You could be in a good mood. You could be positive. They want to know why you're strong. What makes you strong? Are you really strong, or you're just saying that? The narcissist doesn't believe in self-love. They don't believe in being happy alone or anything like that. And everyone, people get tired of being alone, but a lot of people love themselves more and would rather be alone, even if they're not. It's not happy when you're alone. And you might get tired of being alone, but it's not that you're not happy. It's that you are comfortable, and the narcissist does not like comfortable. They like everything but that. To them, it's like they like the rush. They like the adrenaline rush. They like the excitement. They like all that. They feel like, oh, you're boring. If you're boring, it's because you're miserable. If you're boring, it's because you don't have nothing to do. So they'll sit here and they want to figure you out. Do you have friends? Do you go out? Do you have a social life? Or are you just trying to pretend like you're happy when you're not? Because I could never be happy alone. Or they'll try to make you feel like they're a loner like you when they're not. Or they'll try to act like they don't have any game when they do. They'll act like they don't run game when that's all they do. And they're trying to see if you know that they're lying. They're like, do you see that I'm trying to act like I'm not running game, but I actually am running game? Because that's part of the game, is acting like you're not running game and convincing you to do things or say things to me that you shouldn't say or do. You shouldn't be friendly with someone like me. I'm not really a friendly person. I don't like people. And it's a difference between I don't like people because I'm scared because there's narcissists everywhere. It's like, I don't like people. I will use them. I will fuck them over. I will abuse them. I will rob them. I will kill them. I will hurt them. It's a different type of I don't like people. It's like, it's not like, oh, I just want to avoid people. It's, I want to hurt people. I can't stop hurting people. I can't stop lying. I can't stop manipulating people and claiming that's not what I'm doing, or acting erratic, or being obsessive and acting like I'm not obsessive, and gaslighting people so that I don't look obsessive, so that I don't look crazy. So they will always try to get you to look crazy after they done dug up everything out of you, after they've sucked the life out of you, they done broke everything in your household, in your finances down, after they've gaslit you, robbed you out of your time. You know, they will act like I didn't do none of that because I was technically not even in a relationship, friendship with you. Everything was fake. That person who I've been, that's not even what you think I am, who you think I am. It's not even me. I don't care how much we've talked. I don't care about all the nice conversations we have. I don't care about the breakups. I don't care about the arguments. I don't care about getting caught cheating. I don't care about blaming you for things. I don't care about if you think I'm gay, or you think I'm this, if you think I'm psychotic, if you think I'm a serial killer, if you think I'm the devil, if you think that I'm not godlike, because I believe I am godlike because I control my life and I got to do what I did, and I did it. What are you going to do about it? You know? Yeah, I lied to get what I want. That's what people do. That's how the narcissist looks at it. You know? And then when they get with this new supply, they're just going to make it seem like, oh, I had to do what I had to do. And they're just going to keep lying. Lying to themselves, lying to everyone, lying to that supply. Everything is fake. You know? Yeah. They might go to counseling. They might see, there are people that don't want to learn certain things, right? But they will respect when someone, say a doctor, they will respect this person to a certain extent, meaning that if this person, the doctor is going to know how to think like the narcissist. So they're always going to be a couple steps ahead, right? If it's a good doctor that studies narcissism, not someone that doesn't really understand narcissism. Someone who understands narcissism will see through the narcissist. And sometimes they will even be fooled. The doctor could be fooled. You know, I'm telling you, a doctor could be fooled. And then when the patient leaves, when the narcissist leaves, they'll go over the conversation they had with the narcissist, and they'll say to themselves, damn, that motherfucker got me. They started to admit to me their narcissism, and because they were so admitting of their behavior, it made me put my guard down. And now when they start to lie, I believe the lie because they were just so honest about who they are. So they're honest with you about who they are, the more malignant ones, but then they'll start to lie or start to tell you things about their childhood or their traumas, or they'll start to see, they'll tell you the truth, but then they'll start making excuses. Narcissists, that's what they do. They make excuses. They'll start making excuses. That's the lack of accountability. So that, oh, you know, I did. This is something a narcissist will say. You know, I went through this because of my childhood. I didn't get no love. And I know that's not an excuse. That is their excuse, though. But they'll say, I know that's not an excuse. And that's how they'll get you right there. Because you'll think to yourself, they're right. You're going off of emotion. You're right, narcissist. You're right. You know, you're going off of emotion. You're right, narcissist. You know, So once you do that, once you go off of emotion, because the narcissist is validating you, and now you're nodding your head, and the narcissist is watching you. They're looking at you. And they're like, okay, they believe me. So I told them the truth. They know I'm a narcissist. But they're almost desensitized that I'm a narcissist. So these people could tell you who they are. That's why later on down the line, when the narcissist will treat you like shit, call you names, spit on you, hit you, whatever it is, people will stay with the narcissist because a part of you feels like, I always knew who this person really was, but I didn't really know who they were. Like, you had an idea that they could be evil, but you thought that they would change, and then you realize, no, they're not going to change, and it was set up that way. So that's why the narcissist feels like, no, bitch, I told you the truth, but you didn't listen because you were going based off of emotion, and I don't have any. So this is why they tell you stories about their childhood when you're with them. And it's funny because even in these channels where they tell you who they are, they do the same thing. They're repeating the same pattern, like if you guys have been with these people 10 plus years, you know the pattern way too well. They'll say things like, I went through this, I went through that. This is why I'm like this. This is why I'm not as, loving. This is why, I love you, but I might not be in love. So they'll tell you why they're like that, and that will give you comfort because you'll feel like at least you're sharing with me why you're like this. The narcissist knows. They're looking at you and they're like, you have empathy for me, huh? You do, huh? Because you're trying to relate what I went through to things that you're going through. It's like watching a movie and there's a scene where it's triggering you because you went through something. They're feeding off your emotion. So you'll feel like, okay, even though I know you're a narcissist, I've studied narcissism, whatever it is, I've been with the narcissist. They feel like the moment that they tell you, hey, I went through this because of this, that, the sob story, right? But then once you believe them and you feel like they could change, or you have hope for them, or you feel like you could show them something they've never seen or had, because that's what they said. They said they didn't have something, and you can't miss something you never had. So if you say you've been through all these things and you didn't get certain things, when you get those things, it's not going to mean nothing to you. You're going to want more because you can't really miss something you've never had if that's the case, right? So you're proving to someone, hey, I can love you, and they're telling you, hey, I went through this, I went through that, making themselves seem relatable to you. So they're working on your emotion because they're trying to be relatable to you. And later on, you'll find out that they're going to fool you. And even if it's true or not, they're going to fuck you over. And then you're going to be telling them, hey, why would you do that when you said you went through all these things? So it's the same thing with healing. With healing, it's the same thing. It's like they'll accept, hey, remember the sob story I told you? I'm a changed person because I can acknowledge that the sob story made me this way. So they're saying the same shit, but in a different way. Meaning that first they tell you the sob story so that you can relate to them, so that you can trust them. Then once you know narcissist abuse, once you figure these people out, meaning that the new supply, the narcissist will tell them the truth, meaning that, oh, I went through trauma, so I went through bad relationships and I treated people badly, and I don't want to treat people like that anymore. And, I also feel like the people I was with had their own issues, and that's why I'm glad I found you, because you're grade A supply. You don't have much problems. You're confident. You get what you want, and they're mesmerized by that person. They're looking up to that person, so they're gonna share their traumas. They're gonna say, I know what I did was wrong. I couldn't accept that what I did was wrong. It's gonna sound good, and they're gonna say, oh, it's not an excuse. I'm not gonna excuse that. What's crazy is that they'll say, oh, I know, they'll even direct everything at themselves. I've seen the narcissist cry, literally, like crying on their knees. They just want you to open the door. That's all. There's no emotion in them. It's all about them. It's all about them. I've seen these people cry, and they'll just fuck you over right again, like a week, 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later, they'll just fuck you over, just for forgiving them, or just for them making up stories about what you did to validate what they've done to you. They want you to accept lies that didn't even happen. That's how delusional they are. And it's not even really them being delusional. It's about getting you angry and getting into your emotions, because as long as you're still mad or angry or yelling at them, that is fueling them. It makes them feel like, oh, I'm that guy. I got control over you. If I want to be with you, I can, because you're emotional, you're angry, so to them, they'll just go and make up a story. My ex is obsessed with me, and you just broke up with them 2 days ago, and you don't know what the hell's going on, so they'll just make up stories. They'll constantly lie, and then it's a lie upon a lie. It's like a lie upon a lie. I had childhood trauma, and I know what I did. It wasn't right. I told those women, that I wanted to be with them, and I didn't really want to be with them at the time. I went through a lot of things that made me numb, and then I treated these people bad. But guess what? The same people who went through narcissist abuse, we can testify that they gave us, they told us, they gave us hints of who they were, but we didn't understand. And they made it, the narcissist makes it seem like, I didn't understand either what I was doing to you. I didn't understand either what I was doing to you. That's why I'm trying to get it right, so that I don't hurt nobody anymore. They're lying. They're lying. They're just getting smarter. They're trying to figure out how to get supply without having to do or work hard for it, or get what they want without having to put in the work, without, to them it's like, they're trying to find how to get someone without trying to deceive them. And while they're being truthful, saying things about themselves that they've changed or they're trying to change, they're lying to you, and they're lying to themselves. They don't really believe that. They believe they can change behaviors. They believe they can do things not to get caught. They will do and say things where they're telling people the truth about who they are. But the thing is, they're not going to go to smart people and tell them who they are. They're looking for people that believe that they could change. That's who the narcissist targets. People who still believe that maybe they can change. And it's not until you've been with these people for actually 10 plus years, 7 years, 5 years. Until you've been with these people for years, you'll know that they won't change. Sometimes you might feel like they will change for the new supply, but when you've lived long enough, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years pass by, you're going to see that these people don't change. You can't go to the past. A lot of the people that, that wronged you in the past, I guarantee you they're not doing too well. And I guarantee you if you go around them, they're going to pretend like everything's good, but you're going to see that psychologically it's not good. You're going to see that they're going to need constant validation. And if you don't give it to them, you know, there's going to be this arrogance in them. So you'll know that people from your past, if you were to talk to them again and you know that they probably did something to you in the past, or you suspect something, you'll see that they have a lot of anger. They have something going on. They a lot of that stuff that they did, it caught on. They literally got a lot of that karma back, but they're not gonna look at it as karma. They're not gonna look at it as karma. The narcissist, the Jezebel spirit, they get their karma and they're not gonna admit that they got their karma. They're gonna look at it like, bad shit happens to everyone, but it's just gonna validate that, hey, someone wronged me, and they went through the same identical things they put me through, if not even worse. So sometimes they'll share stories with you, and then you'll think back like, you tried to do that to me, but look, you got it done to you. And to them it's like, they'll try to get you to, oh, feel sorry for me. You know what it feels like to go through this, but they're the same people who did it to you. Ain't that crazy? A lot of narcissists want you to feel sorry for them, even though they're the ones currently or wronged you in the past. They wronged you in the past, but they want you to feel sorry for them. And some of them will deny doing things to you in the past. So these people, they lie. They insert thoughts. They insert conversations. Some of them, like I said, they have a high IQ. They've been manipulating for a very long time. Some of them, they just know how to talk smart. Some of them know how to dress well, and they just they can use a lot of hard words, that they learned, but they're not even using them properly. They're just trying to make themselves sound smart, and then they say something to where what they're trying to imply, and it just makes them sound intelligent, and you'll think, oh wow, this person's using terms that I haven't heard before, and you can fall for it. You could feel like you can sometimes even they will lie about their career. They will lie about who they are. They will put on uniforms. They will tell you, that they won the lottery. They will tell you that, they will tell you, things that aren't true. I started my own business, and then they'll sell you something, from the freaking 99-cent store for $20. These are people that are constantly lying. They'll sit there and cook you dinner and really bought the whole thing. So narcissists, a lot of times, they share things with you so you can trust them. Then, they'll come around so that they have that familiar spirit. And when they see that you don't interact with them all the time, or you don't feed into them all the time, they also pay attention to that. Because to them it's like, you were nice to me the day before, you were laughing at my jokes. Why aren't you laughing at my jokes today? Why aren't you friendly like yesterday? Or they'll try to be all in your space, or close to you, or just your personal space, like they'll come around you like you've been knowing them for hours, for years, or like you've been knowing them for a while. And if you tell them, hey, can you give me some space, like they'll look at you like you're crazy, like you offended them, and you're like, just please respect my space. Or they'll start touching you, or they want to handshake you. They want to shake hands with you. A lot of them will do things like, oh, okay, have a nice day. And then they want to shake your hand, or they want to, pump your, give you that little, that little hand pump. They'll do something to connect with you, anything. And I say this because you're dealing with people who are not only liars, but they are using energy. They're manipulating energy. They're manipulating your thoughts. They're manipulating your energy. And they will drain you of your energy. And that's in any way that they can, meaning that not only do they want to gain information, but they even want to touch you. Not even animals let you touch them right away. Your parents told you to not take candy from strangers. So in certain countries, you're not even allowed to touch people and shake their hand. You make eye contact. And in certain countries, you're not even allowed to make eye contact. So the energy starts with the windows to the soul. Then it's smell, right? Smell. The narcissist smells you. They scent your scent. They're predators. They smell you. There's something about you. They know a lot of times they can also feel that you've ran across other narcissists, And if you got played by a narcissist, most narcissists want to play you again. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you'll get the Prince Charming, and that motherfucker is worse than the narcissist you had before, because it's almost like the energy, they smell you. This is why it's so contagious. It's so irresponsible to be sleeping around with different people, because you're building connections with these people. If this person has a poverty mindset, they're going to bring poverty into your life. They're going to project that onto you, and then they're going to feel better about themselves and think they're better than you, So you can't accept negative energy. They want to drop that negative energy. They want to talk to you. They want to befriend you. And then they want to dump all their problems on you. This is why a lot of times when you feel the closest to the narcissist is when they're sharing their problems with you. When they're not sharing their problems with you, you feel like something's wrong. Like, hey, why are you not opening up to me? And that's because they're dumping their problems on someone else now. And there's a disconnection right there. So that's what the narcissist does to connect to people, is that they dump their problems, their stories, their fake stories on people. And that's what gives them, courage, that liquid courage to do what they do. So you're dealing with people that will say and do anything at your expense, at the expense of your feelings, of your emotions. As long as you're walking through life, not necessarily numbing your emotions, but protecting your emotions, and understanding that narcissists can say anything. There's narcissists that are homeless on the street, getting Social Security, getting food stamps, who are, they spend their days stealing from stores and then stealing food from stores. And then they're outside, begging for change, and they're getting a lot of people who are sympathizing. You're like, hey, take these new shoes, take this new clothes. They're like, I don't want those new shoes and that new clothes. Hey, I don't want a haircut, because then people are going to tell me to get a job. I want to look dirty. I make more money on the street and I get to do what I want. To them, they feel like, and then they have the arrogance and they feel more entitled than the working class, because they feel like they have more rights than the working class, and they'll try to get someone fired because of their stealing, because people are tired of them coming in and out of the stores, grabbing shit and running. They'll get people fired if that person puts their hands on them. That person will go to jail while they're sitting on the street, getting disability checks, Social Security, food stamps, their little tent. They got everything they need. They feel like an Instagram model. How narcissists could be in a high scale. They're getting fast money. They think they're better than everyone. I got a little BBL, right? I'm feeling myself. Everyone's looking at me. Everyone's beneath me. Oh, you got a regular job. I'm getting fast money on the internet. I'm getting money from perverts, right? They got that arrogance, that entitlement. You got homeless people with that same entitlement. And they will lie to you. You'll say, oh, how you ended up on the street. They're going to use your emotions to get to you. I've seen it. I've experienced it. They're going to use your emotions. Oh, my mom was on drugs. You know, I live with my grandparents. My grandparent lost their home. I ended up on drugs. I ended up homeless, so I turned to drugs, and I've been on drugs ever since. And they could have came from a good family, and their family is probably still alive, but they already premeditated a story so that when their next con comes, which is you having empathy for them, they have the story already premeditated for you. You get me? So it's a very scary world that we live in. And I just wanted to come on here. I know I kind of talked for a very long time, but sometimes I get fooled by narcissists myself. And it doesn't take me long to figure it out. I mean, I'm talking about while I'm in the midst of the conversation, it might seem natural. It might seem like a good conversation. And then when the conversation is over, I feel like my energy was sucked because I wasn't even supposed to talk. I wasn't supposed to share anything. I wasn't supposed to listen to them. I wasn't even supposed to be talking to that person. So then I think, why do I feel depleted? So I'll think on the conversation because it wasn't, even though it looked positive, something happened in that conversation to make me feel depleted. And if I look back at that conversation an hour later and I'm thinking about it, because the narcissist analyzes their conversations, you have to analyze your conversations. If I analyze that conversation, I'm going to pick up on certain key points and I'm going to say, how do I know that was true when they said that? How do I know if that was true? How do I know that? They could just be telling me. And then when you think about when they were telling you, you think about their facial expression, you think about everything, and you're like, nah, they didn't really seem empathetic. They had that look of surprise. They had that look, they had that empty gaze. They had that look where they were trying to study me. They didn't seem sad, or they didn't seem or they said something where it's like too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? So there'll be key points. And if you pick up on just one key point, that should tell you everything you need to know about that person. And trust me, if you start paying attention and then you close yourself off with this person, you're going to see that they're going to be desperate to try to open you right back up. You're going to see that they're going to do it in a way where it's so naturally that you're just going to forget. And that's what narcissists do. They make you forget. They lie so much, they make you forget. The more malignant ones, they lie and make you forget so quickly. Or you just don't pay attention, or it just goes over your head. Or you just feel like, well, I don't have nothing to do, or what do they get out of it? Or they don't get nothing out of it. They get validation. They get, they get feel from you in a way where you're not even going to notice, because you feel like that person didn't get anything financially off of you, but they got energy and time. Time is energy. So the time you spent giving to them, looking at them, that was time. You can't even look at these people. That's energy. Energy flows where the mind goes, and your mind goes there. That's where the energy is going to go. And then other people are paying attention to your energy go there. And now other narcissists are behind you, watching your energy go there, being deceived. They'll promise you things. They'll offer you things. You'll trust people because they look different, because they seem different. And you'll want to believe them because it's different. It's something new. And your adrenaline might go, your adrenaline is going because you're like, I want to know more about that person too. The narcissist is using your emotions, when a lot of times the people you will believe, the only reason you're believing them is because it's something new. Something about them is new to you. and it seems exciting. It seems like your interest is there, right? If you feel like you've been around the same person physically, mentally, you're not, you're just, and you don't like that person, you're just going to be like, I'm going to look at that person like, you're going to visualize someone and compare them, right? Because you're going to see certain traits. But when you see certain traits that you haven't seen, it's certain patterns that you haven't seen before, with the new face, you'll easily be deceived. You'll be deceived by an accent, by anything. It will throw you off. It will throw you off. It will throw you off. And then later on, you'll realize it was the excitement of trying to read a new book, you know, smell the pages, smell the brand new pages of that new book. That's how the narcissist views you, and they want you to feel the same so they can say, the feeling is mutual. See, we're in love. And then you're going to be like, yeah, we're soulmates. And the narcissist is like, ha, got you. Got you. You thought I didn't have game. You thought I was a cornball, but I eventually got you to like me. I was persistent, you know, or I carried myself with value when I don't have any. So, you know, I hope that this message could help somebody. I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, support this new channel by subscribing to it. If you guys have been following me from Angel Angela, and now you know, subscribe to this channel to support Angela's Angel on this new chapter, where I'm going to be sharing lots of free game on the stuff that you're going to see. It's not just healing from narcissist abuse. It's an ongoing battle. It's different. You're going to war, you know, you're going to war, and you know, you were sleeping with the enemy, but in a way they were protecting you, and then they tried to kill you, and some of you, they did kill you, but guess what? You made it back. But now that you made it back alone. And a lot of these people, they're not your friend. They don't mess with you. I don't care how nice they seem, how much they share with you. They're all about themselves. And sometimes you might feel like the loneliness. Sometimes you feel like, you know, I can't be. A lot of times narcissists know you're serious, and they'll tell you, you don't got to be so serious. You could smile more. They're looking for a smile. They want to see anything, any energy they can get from you, a smile, anything. They're trying to force it out of you. When in actuality, if it was the other way around, you wouldn't be sitting here fucking telling this person to smile. If that person came into your presence and without speaking to you, you wouldn't have said that to them. You got to think about, sometimes this stuff happens and you think that people can read your mind, but they cannot read your mind. The only person that can read your mind is yourself. You know yourself. But the problem is, sometimes you think that these people know you, and they don't know you. They're trying to know you. You know? So they're saying little things, and you're thinking, oh, you know, they're telling me to smile. Or you think it's a sweet old man and he's a nasty pervert, you know? And you don't know that he's a nasty, sick fuck. For real. You think, oh, you know, one time, you guys, this is how I also, you know, I told you I got played by a grandma one time. I got played by kids. I didn't really get played by kids, but I've had kids try to play me, and I'm like, these little kids be bad. I've had grannies try to get me. I've had freaking old ass man, old grandpa, probably in his 80s, where I'm helping him because he can't walk, literally pinch my butt. When I was done helping him, he pinched my butt. And I'm like, I can't defend myself and like slap him or like do something, because then they're going to be like, oh, you just slapped an old ass man. You know, you can't even react. You're just like, I can't react. I can't curse them out because he's old as shit and they're going to be like, hey, get off that old man. Because naturally, people are thinking based off of their emotion. So they're going to say, oh, he reminds me of my grandpa. People react off of emotion when they don't even know the whole story. That's why people be telling people to stay out of people's business, because sometimes the person that's mad has a reason to be mad. So if you guys want to continue to support me by booking with me, my booking information will be on the description. Just give me 24 hours, you guys, to respond to you. And as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace in your healing, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.